Hey, how's everybody doing? Welcome to Talking Shit with your boy, the Manic Genius and the Sophisticated Jerk.
Yo,
Sorry, man. We been getting these requests, man. You ready to go in on this one?
absolutely.
You sent me this one, so this is that one about emotional intelligence. You want to break it down, introduce it a little bit?
Yeah, so it was this lady, Karyn Seitz. I seen it just with the title. It was like one of those catchy titles. Um, and just hearing her talk about it. The title is "Women Have No Emotional Intelligence," and I was just like, "Oh,
Shit.
okay. This is from first glance, seeing a woman say this is like, oh, okay, she's part of because there's a small group of women who kind of just go against women, and so I was like, okay, this might be a little bitter, but I mean, you just roll the clip. Yeah, she kind of breaks it all down with her take. It was an
Yeah, I
interesting
think
spin.
I seen her on quite a few stuff, so she actually breaks stuff down, man. She be putting that psychology behind it. So like, yeah, I'm
Yeah.
definitely interested in what she says. So let me go ahead and play it.
We live in as women is believing that we have high emotional intelligence and
Damn, she throwing
setting the record
already.
straight. Women have no emotional intelligence. The reason that as women we want to believe we have emotional intelligence is because we are emotional. Because we are emotional as women, we want to think we have high emotional intelligence. But the truth is the fact that we are highly emotional is actually the biggest indicator that we have very low emotional intelligence because
Mm.
being emotional is having no control over our emotional state, which is low emotional intelligence. High emotional intelligence is the ability to be pragmatic, to see things realistically,
Mm.
and to make choices and respond to life not from an emotional place. It's the ability to be in control of our emotional state and operate in life from that place. Falseness we live in as women is believing that we have high emotional intelligence.
Did it just start over?
Yeah, just repeat it.
Oh, okay. I'll go ahead and stop it there. But all right, man. Based on what she said, him kind of broke down, man. You agree with her?
Um, I actually don't. I don't agree with her. Just for the simple fact that um there's plenty of women out here in positions that are able to like maintain their emotions to, make logical decisions. And I work with some of them. Actually, I work with a lot of them, but I definitely do see her point. When she broke it down from that sense of, you know, kind of having control over your emotions. And I think from like a general standpoint, I would agree with her. Especially younger women. They're when people kind of allow their emotions to overrun and kind of dictate the way they move. Um, that I think I agree with her on that point. I think you're lacking emotional control, but I think emotional intelligence is like a little bit deeper than just um controlling your emotions. It's being aware of your emotions, and sometimes you have to compartmentalize those emotions to make a rational decision. So I definitely agree to her points as far as the emotional intelligence, having like self-awareness, self-regulation, social skills, relationship management. Like I absolutely agree on that. Um but I wouldn't agree with the women have no emotional intelligence. I would say that people who are more self-aware, self-regulated, and have the social skills just have more emotional intelligence. But it was a great spin though. Like I liked what she said because it definitely opens the conversation.
Yeah, I think where she came from, because I agree with you. Like I said, man, we in professional settings and we work with a lot of women. So I think like people that do kind of start rising up, it's like you have to learn emotional intelligence to a certain degree,
Mhm.
especially like when you start taking leadership roles, because it's just like, man, ain't nobody gonna like keep you employed if you lack them qualities. But I think where she's coming from is like we hear it all the time when in a lot of conversations where it's almost like people are kind of, I would say, weaponizing it a little bit, where it's like,
Oh
oh,
yeah,
you know,
for
I want
sure.
a emotional, intelligent man. We're more mostly intelligent. And then like what she's kind of pointing out, like you said, when you apply it to the general, it's just like a lot of people don't have control over their emotions.
Oh yeah.
And then I think, what they're asking for is just really, they think they want it because I think it's the new clever catchphrase, like emotional intelligence that everybody's running with, but they don't understand, like you said, the levels, like the self-regulation, the awareness. And then also it's just like, think about it. If a lot of people, there's like, hey, I want an emotionally intelligent, guy in a lot of cases where we're hearing it. And it was just like, I don't think you do. Cause like, the flip side of emotional intelligence is somebody that they're going to have like awareness on their side. So it's just like, if they can spot that you don't know how to self-regulate, you don't have awareness, you don't got control of your emotions, they might avoid your ass.
Yeah.
If they're honestly like emotionally intelligent, they're gonna be like, hell no, this person's a red flag. They unstable. Let me move on to somebody I better control over their emotions and they can self-regulate. So I think it's funny when like people say all this stuff because it's just like, do you actually know what the hell that shit means? And are you like emotionally stable yourself to want somebody to like come in there and come and like be in the same capacity and stuff. So I think a lot of times people, when they're saying it, it's almost like, because even when we're talking about where people like, I want a guy that's mostly available, or, that's, emotionally available and, that has those certain qualities and stuff. But they're like, I want him to open up. I want him to be pouring to me.
Yeah.
And then, we had to like tell those one females where it's just like, hey, a masculine guy ain't going to have a lot of issues. He problem solves. And a lot of times, like,
self-regulates
before he gets in a relationship, he already done like worked on himself and got rid of these certain things. So it's just like when they're asking for this stuff, I don't think they sit down and like think it out to a certain degree where, it's just like, hey, he's not gonna be pouring out to you because, somebody that's complete, they see life as like, hey man, it's a blessing to be alive. I don't got really nothing to sit there dwell and be miserable about. So, they're not gonna be pouring on to you and stuff. So yeah, I'm rambling. So let me what's your take on that?
No, I agree. And I think like, we're both on the same page. When it comes to relationship dynamics, I too hear a lot of that type of, those type of conversations in the relationship dynamics as far as, oh, men don't have emotional, or I want a man with emotional intelligence. And it's just like, I think a lot of people get that wrong because they don't actually know what emotional intelligence means. And I would agree with, I think her name was Karyn. What was it?
Karyn, let me pull it up
Seitz.
again. Seitz, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just say Karyn, man. We're good. Yeah, Karyn Seitz.
Yeah, Karyn. Yeah, I would agree with Karyn on this one. From the standpoint of, if we're generalizing, then I would say that we can all agree that, I mean, I don't say all agree, but I think most people would agree that if women are more in tune with their emotions, there's like a good way to put a spin on that, being more in tune with your emotions. But with being more in tune with your emotions, oftentimes comes a outwardly expression of those emotions. So we can all visualize our woman or wife having one of those emotional moments. And guys, we have our emotional moments too, but we kind of internalize that. And it doesn't mean that we're, a common misconception is that we're suppressing our emotions. And oftentimes we don't suppress our emotions. We just have different outlets for our emotions because we're taught, men, boys, at an early age, like, don't cry. And, you talk to a therapist, they'll tell you, oh, that's a terrible thing. But no, it's, sometimes you don't need to cry. Sometimes you need to take a deep breath, internalize what just happened, and make an assessment. And sometimes that assessment is, life ain't fair, and crying about it is really just a waste of time when you could just learn from it and try not to make the mistake again and move forward. Versus, I think society really promotes women to be outwardly expressive with their emotions, but in a male, it's looked at as a negative thing. But to Karen's point, it actually allows, or society kind of pushes men to have more emotional intelligence because we have to self-regulate. So I would absolutely agree with her on those points, but I would stay away from that the notion that women have no emotional intelligence. But I definitely understand her point, taking it beyond the surface layer. And I think I said in the beginning, like I was drawn to this clip because I mean I didn't know who she was, and that's not a page I generally follow. It just popped up, but it caught my attention. Like women have no emotional intelligence. This is a completely different like spin. So, call it clickbait or whatever, but it served its purpose. And we're having the conversation now because somebody sent us the clip, and we get so many clips that we can't watch all of them, but this one actually stuck out because of that headline and that title. So
But let me ask you a quick question. So
yeah.
we already said like both genders have emotional intelligence, but who would you say is more emotionally intelligent out
Oh,
of
men.
women and men?
Men for sure.
Men for sure. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
agree.
yeah.
And I think that's the point she's trying to make. I think
Yeah.
sometimes, on social media,
Yeah.
because like I said, I think on an inverse, like females think they're more emotionally intelligent, like she was saying, because they're more emotional. But I think like with women miscalculating, like I said, we said it on panels and stuff. Like we don't want to push that burden on nobody else because it's like we understand to a certain degree. It's like, man, life is just rough, period. It's gonna throw you some hurdles and stuff, some obstacles. But it's just like we understand, even when we get in family dynamics, it's like, hey, I'm gonna stay stable so everybody else can have like their emotional outbursts and they could like kind of pause and go through life like not worrying about stuff. So we'll take on that burden as men. So I think a lot of times like females misinterpret that as like we're like, oh, he's not being emotionally available, he won't open up. But we're just like,
Yeah.
nah, a lot of times we let y'all vent to us, we'll take that that on. And then if you have kids, it's like, okay, I gotta let them vent also, and teaching. So we'll put ourselves last and stuff. So I think that's why they assume that we're not emotionally intelligent, where it's just like, nah, we fully understand that, hey, we gotta let others vent, we put ourselves last. And like she was saying, like
Yeah.
we have to self-regulate and have that awareness about everybody else. But yeah, I definitely agree with you. Men are a little more emotionally intelligent. And if y'all better be careful because you ain't got your emotions in check. That person that's like emotionally intelligent, they might run from your ass.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and these are obviously generalizations. There's plenty of men out here that have no emotional intelligence, and I mean, you know,
Good point.
generalizing, these guys with low emotional intelligence usually make really bad decisions because they allow their
Yeah,
emotions to
good point.
overrun. So these are your guys that are typically in, prison, jail, uh,
Yeah,
or,
facts.
unfortunately not here anymore because they allowed a moment to define and kind of like dictate their future. So,
All right, but we'll go ahead and close this one out,
yeah,
man. Nah, definitely a good clip. I do like the spin she put on there, man. So
yeah.
y'all know the deal, man. Keep sending us some stuff, man. We'll eventually get to it.
Yeah. We'll eventually get to it. And shout out to everybody who actually understands what emotional intelligence is and is actively working on it.
Yeah, and ain't trying to redefine it. That's the
Yeah,
thing.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
like everybody want to redefine shit based on what they want that other person to have, like from a manipulation standpoint. So
Yeah.
yeah, I see a lot of that. It's like, oh, okay, I want this person to have these qualities. Let me use this word because it's the buzzword, but like redefine it. So it's like,
Yeah.
man, you gotta take words for what it is and look at like you said, look at the true source of it and try to see what actual like attributes or characteristics fall under that. So you are actually having growth, not faking growth. So I
Mhm.
see so many people doing that shit. They'll just slap the label on them. Oh, I'm emotionally intelligent, motherfucker, is stable as hell, whining all the goddamn time. So
Can't
yeah,
have a conversation with somebody of a difference of opinion.
they quit, rage quit. So
Rage quitters. Yeah.
shout out for that shot. I know what you're going with that. But all right, then we out of here. Peace.
We out.